Remember when Chi Wattel played the thug in Four Brothers,
Yeah,
which kind of just like,
like it's not. You can't sell it. You
no.
can't sell it.
But this dude,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, fearless thug. You
fear
know, like
you a killer.
killer,
You a
killer.
you a killer. You what they write the rap songs about. You what
Yeah.
the rappers rap about. You the person that the rappers pretend to be. Yo, 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 yo.
Yo,
I'm No Justin No Peace.
and I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons Podcast because we sit down and we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture,
What else?
politics,
What else?
movies and TV and how they all intersect. And baby, we got the movie review.
Yo, we here now.
Yo, this was intense. This was
Yo, this
intense.
Zoom is serious. Yo, I didn't realize. Yo, my head is.
we
Dang.
zooming. We zooming. Listen, we're quarantined. Well, we're not
Yes, we
quarantined.
are.
We're social distancing. We're doing the right thing.
Yes.
And we're doing this over Zoom. This is new for us. This is new for us because
brand new.
normally we're in the studio over there. We're in the setup, but we're not
Right.
there today. But we still gonna do our movie review, and we got to pull from Netflix because ain't no movie theaters, dog.
Yo, ain't no movie theaters, ain't no movies, ain't nothing.
They may not be coming back.
Yeah, I don't think.
Who knows what movie theaters are gonna? I mean, granted, I don't think that the theaters are gonna just die. Probably some other company's gonna bring them up. You know, like I don't know, Richard Branson's probably gonna name every movie theater Virgin Movies or something like that.
Right.
You just gonna buy it all. We all gonna be going to Virgin movie theaters. Like
Right.
you know, some company's gonna pick it. Or Disney. Disney's probably gonna.
That's yo. I was just gonna say, yo, what if these production companies just
They
buy
buying them.
like
They buying
this
them.
is the whole thing, yo. What if Amazon had a theater? Like,
The Amazon Studio, they're buying
Right.
theaters because essentially, like if these companies go down, it's property, and it's like
Right.
there's not nobody wants to rebuild on that property. So if they just taking over, these buildings, Amazon could easily come in and sweep it up.
right.
They can come in and
Yo.
sweep it up.
Yo, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what thought I was just having? I was just like, yo, you want brand new technology? What if you had like a VR theater? So now you just walk in, you can watch any movie you want, like a silent.
Oh,
silent
so you
DJ?
just go and you sit in the seat, but you put something on it. It's any movie that you want on the screen.
Right.
Damn, we might have to cut this out and figure that out ourselves.
Right.
I hope
right.
Jeff Bezos doesn't listen to our podcast. If you do,
yeah.
Jeff, we need a cut.
Yeah, you're right. Look, unless we're gonna be like the vice president and just dip out, I'm out.
You right. He was like, nah.
He was like, yo, you treating these people like
Dad, I'm out.
Hey.
I'm out. Jeff be staying strong. He'd be like, listen, fuck him.
He was like, F my wife.
F her. Take it. You listen.
Word.
Billions? What's billions to me?
You know?
Damn. All right, so the movie that we're reviewing today is All Day and a Night.
All Day and a Night.
It's directed and written by, I have it right here. Hold on.
Come on, what's his name?
Ooh. I gotta move fast. Joe Robert Cole.
Joe Robert Cole. What else did he write?
Apparently, he wrote Black Panther with Ryan Coogler.
Yes, he did.
Listen,
I didn't know this.
So I'm very interested. I'm and it's starring. I forgot the dude's name that is starring.
Aston Sanders.
Sanders, Moonlight.
Right. Jeffrey Wright. You know my man Jeffrey Wright.
Woo.
Come on, man.
Peoples.
You
best kill me now, Chef.
Yo,
you best
for
kill
anybody
me
who
now.
hasn't seen Shaft, the first Shaft, go see it.
Lord.
You know? Jeffrey Wright, the best actor in the business, yo.
Man, oh man. So Jeffrey Wright, what's his name? You said Austin. What?
Aston Sanders.
Aston Sanders from what?
RZA. He's RZA from Hulu.
Yes,
from
RZA from Hulu.
Hulu.
He's been in a lot of bangers. He's been in a lot of. He's been
Equalizer 2.
Equalizer 2. He was good in Equalizer 2.
Captive State.
I still haven't watched Captive State or Ken. I'm slow. I'm slow over here. But I sat down and watched this, and I watched this more recent than you. I watched it today, and but check this out. My wife was here and she was leaving, but it was Captive State of her. Like she was interested too. I'm probably gonna watch it again. Right. Now, I didn't know if going into this, I didn't have much hope for it. I'm like, Netflix sounds like a crime drama type of situation.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. But boy. When 15 minutes in, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm
Yeah.
sold. I'm sold. I am sold. I'm sold. I'm going in. I'm going on this ride. Guys, okay. First thoughts.
All right. First thoughts. The acting is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
The script is phenomenal.
Whoa.
All right. So it's crazy. The directing is great. The thing that I had probably the biggest problem with was I wasn't enamored by the story, like the storyline itself.
Okay.
But what the story was and putting it together and how he wrote it out, it was great. It's just
Yes.
that it's not a story that I'm like I got to go, like I can't wait to hear
Yeah.
that about that story. That was it. But
The
other than that,
ending, didn't the ending change it for you?
oh, you know me, I love I
The
love
ending had a
those type of,
payoff.
yeah. I'm not gonna tell anyone what it is or
Yes.
how it was, but for me, like I love endings where you're just like, right there.
Yes. Well, I mean, I guess they know. You know from the first, you've known from reading what the story is
Yeah.
about, and from the beginning that there's a murder that happens.
Right.
There's a murder that happens, but you don't know why.
Right.
And through the whole movie, because of the person I am, I'm trying to guess and assume the why.
Right.
And I was
Because
wrong.
that's the point. That is the
That's the
exact
point. That's the point. And I was
because
wrong.
you're getting it from, because you see the murder, and
Yes.
then you're basically getting it from the murder going forward,
Yes.
and whatever leads to the murder.
Yes.
So it's just like it's a bunch of flash forwards, it's a bunch of present days, and there's a bunch of past tense.
Yes.
And he weaves that perfectly.
Perfect.
Like
I don't feel odd. I'm not lost. I clearly understand where we are in the timetable, and it doesn't seem odd. It does not seem odd.
Because the whole thing is the movie's called the day and all day and a night.
Yes.
So the point being is that the mid game, which I'm gonna call like the present time, is the day and the night basically.
Yes.
It's whatever's gonna lead to that murder.
Yes.
And the other parts of the story are him going into the system, and then the past tense of what led him to that point.
Yes.
So
it's so significant because you understand that people have a story. And I think that if anything this writer director was trying to do is that there's a story behind all of this, because he starts it out and it's very smart. Man, is it smart, because the person who's murdered, the mother asks, why did you do this? You won't tell us why. You're a savage. You don't deserve to see light. But then on the other end, we know who he did this to. And if you want to talk about savagery, this person is not without. It ain't that person. That's not who you. So it's very clear. It's very smart. And I think it leaves you to answer some questions yourself. How do you feel within yourself? Because it's like, you don't ask this story. Do you? And he says it. He says, a lot of people say they want to know why, but do they want to know why?
Right.
Because are you willing to really hear the why? Are you really willing to accept the why? Listen, I really enjoyed this piece. Sitting down, watching the colors, and I could just see the cinematic influences. I know that this person probably grew up watching some of the Hughes Brothers stuff, watching the Menace to Society, and I think it was not cheesy.
Right.
It was not cheesy. What's Candyman's name? The dude that's about to play Candyman.
Oh, gosh. You gonna find it?
Yeah,
I can't even remember.
But
I totally forgot that he was in the movie too, because he's good also.
He's so good in this, bro. He's so good in this. And there's a distinct difference between his performance as a criminal. What's his name? Let me find it. Yahya Abdul Mateen the second. See, that's why I didn't know his name.
Me too.
What is his nickname? Because that's what I need. Yahya? Do they call him Yahya? Okay, we're gonna call him Yahya. Okay. Yahya was distinctly different from I think it's Terrence No, I don't know his name. The dude that played the thug the Tyrese movie. Tyrese with Naomi Watson.
Oh,
Black and
Black
Blue.
and Blue. Mm-hmm.
His was kind of cartoonish.
The Luke Cage dude.
Yes, like
Yeah.
you remember when Chi Wattel played the thug in Four Brothers,
Yeah.
which kind of just like,
Like it's not. You can't sell it.
no.
You can't sell
But
it.
this dude, I'm like,
oh, fearless thug. You know, like
you a killer.
killer.
You a killer. You what they write the rap songs about. You what the rappers rap about. You the person that the rappers pretend to be.
Right.
It's you.
He humanized the character. You know what I mean?
Definitely humanized it.
Like it wasn't like he was out there trying to be flashy. This type of like
no.
It was very territorial, real life. Like, all right, this is the other part.
There were lines that seriously stood out to me. You remember the dude who played next to his best friend. What was his name? TQ, something like that.
Oh yeah,
dude with the curly hair.
The dude from
I don't know him from anything.
Snowfall.
Is he in Snowfall? See, I haven't watched Snowfall.
Come on,
I have not watched Snowfall. Well, we're gonna get past that. So boom, check this out. Yeah. I couldn't help but think that would have probably been Jason Mitchell had he not fucked up his career.
Damn.
But he was fantastic.
Yes.
He was fantastic, which makes sense if he's in Snowfall. But their relationship felt real. It didn't feel cheesy. But he says a line that was so good when he says, "I'm a predator, dog. You gotta know who you are." And I'm like, yo, that's right.
When he's driving in the car?
Yes. And predators don't just exist in selling drugs. There's predators who sell stock. There's predators who are doctors. There's predators who are lawyers. And these people, some of them are identifying who they are. Some of them are faking that they're something else.
They're only about the self-preservation.
That's it. That's it. Which kind of foreshadows what we're going to see later. Because that line popped up by the end. But man, like I'll
tell you the one dude who I wasn't sold on is the rapper dude.
No, yeah, because he couldn't talk with the gold teeth. He was like, what's he?
I was like, he must have practiced all these Rick Ross lines and then couldn't say them.
He was better off doing that. Like, yes, but the other two, made it just glaze over. You know what Austin does very well is he doesn't play a thug like the other thugs.
Right.
He kind of always, especially even in Equalizer, he plays it like, it's always seemed like he's a victim of his circumstance. Very clear that's how it comes across. It's like, I'm really just doing what I was taught to do. Like, I'm trying to figure it out like everybody else is trying to figure it out, which is perfect for this because that's what the story is about. Like, when you are put in these situations, when you are put in this environment, what do you think most people are going to come out like? And even the people who try, which was his other friend, they try. They've been told that this is what you're supposed to do. He signed up for the army and still comes back injured and destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they didn't. The
thing that I like about him is that I think this is the one reason why he'll be like that next great leading actor. Like, he'll be that next front of black actors. Is because he's himself. Like, not saying that like, oh, he's not about not embodying an actor, but I mean a character, but you see him portraying a character. You know what I mean? And he can sell you on that there's enough of me here for me to sell you on who this character is also.
If I was living in these circumstances, what would it be? What would it look like? And that increases the believability.
Right.
Because at that time, listen, I didn't see no moonlight in that boy. There was no moonlight there. This was no Equalizer. This was a different person. And he embodied this place, this emotion, this confusion, this hurt that just travels on. Um, anything else you want to say about the film?
Um, I want to see his next project. Like it doesn't matter what it is, but it made me go, all right,
Mm,
he's talented. Like,
he's
and
got
that's I mean, as far as writing, directing, and having a platform on Netflix, that made me go, okay, all right.
Netflix was
What you gonna
probably
give us
better
next?
for him than anything. The pressure
Yeah,
of being released into a movie theater and then people having to, because like this doesn't sell as well as a Queen and Slim sells.
right.
It just doesn't, because just the type of,
There's no love story. One
yes,
like,
yes, it's
and
the,
that's something that definitely has to sell in most of these movies.
yes, but the type of it doesn't sell like that. But doesn't mean it's not as good.
Right.
Like it
Exactly.
just, when you get to sit down and you don't have the should I spend my $15 on this? Should I spend my $50 with my shorty to watch this? Or
Right.
you don't have that barrier. You have it. Okay, we're at home. Let's watch something, and then you just get blown away. You get blown away,
Mhm.
and then this is another one of those movies that you just pass along. Did you see that? Did you see that? And
Mhm.
that's the great thing about these platforms like Netflix, because it alleviates some pressure, because the going to the theater, because of the expense and because people don't have the time and people don't have the money, you make choices because you want to be satisfied with that money.
Right.
You don't want to be disappointed. Not everybody's like us who's going to see it, because we're just going to see so much, and if we see some bad stuff, we see some bad stuff, and we come and trash it
Mhm.
to each other. But some people, like, that's their moment to get away. That's their date night. That's their opportunity to get away. They don't want to waste it. But
That's the quarantine movie
that's
night.
their quarantine movie night. But and if you're on a quarantine movie night, what would you say, Lewis? Should they watch this?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Um, we doing cannons right now? We doing
Yeah,
cannons?
let's go. Rate it.
Okay. All right. My cannons. I gave it a 3.5 cannons. That's my 3.5 cannons right
Really?
there. Yeah, I think
I
it was
think that's
excellent.
strong. I think that's
Yeah.
right. And I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a
Okay.
4 cannons, because I really this reminded me, like, when I'm watching this, it's the same feelings that I watched when I was watching Dope. I'm like, okay, I'm getting a. This is the story is similar to what Boys in the Hood was trying to tell us, similar to what Menace to Society was trying to tell us. The perspective is different, but the way of telling it was different. The way of that they told the story in Dope was different, and
Right.
this is added to that world. And I think this is one of those pieces that people are going to go back to, because it's well put together. It's well shot. It's well
Yes.
written. Well written. There's tons of emotion there. Tons of emotion. They kept it super gritty. The performances are believable, and it's a great first picture. It's a
Right.
great directorial debut. I mean, granted, when you writing with Ryan Coogler for Black Panther, obviously you probably know how
We're
to
gonna
write.
get
You probably know how to
right.
write. You probably know how to write. But we may not know you how to direct, and he directed very well. There was a lot of nice sequences that I watched that were moving in and out of certain lights and certain
Mhm.
moods, and I was like, "Oh, what you doing?
Ready.
You
He's
right?
ready.
Oh, okay. You watching Stanley Coop? You
Yeah.
Kubrickian? Oh, okay, oh, okay. You
Yeah.
seen some pieces. You seen some work, and you're trying things, and I want to see what comes out of him next. So you
Right.
gave it a 3.5. I
Yeah.
gave it a 4. The
Okay.
question is, should they watch this or Black as Fuck? Which one should they watch?
Dang.
Ah!
Um. Whew. All right. I must tell most people you should watch this because it's a movie. You know.
You're gonna get this.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we gonna talk about Black as Fuck.
We just got to do it, because listen, if you're on the Loose Cannons channel, you seen the video that I put out not too long ago about Black AF, because I was just feeling some type of way. But man, did I get hit in the comments.
Yo, I believe it.
Did I get hit in the comments. And it's apparently people feel some type of way about this show. What did you think? Because I need another opinion.
All right, so I'm gonna help you out, my brother.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I feel like I gotta sneeze again.
Uh-huh.
It's coming on. No, it's not. Okay, so I I enjoyed it. Um, but
But
I didn't go in there expecting something. Like
mm,
I didn't go in there like, "Ooh, I can't wait for," no. Like I'm just like I want to see what he's going to tell me, what's his story. I didn't go in there expecting the black experience, I guess, cuz
okay.
that's what I'm
I
realizing
don't
is
even think
most
that's what
people
the title was saying to me. It didn't, but
I said the same thing. But I think that we're at a point where most people want that, like
mm,
that's what they were expecting.
that's what they
And
need.
me, I'm at the point where I kind of want as many minority projects as possible, just so there's this good content. It doesn't matter if it's
Yes,
your content or not. I just
yes,
want good content out there.
yes.
And I think that most people were disappointed that it wasn't what they expected rather than it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Because I thought that I already told you I'm not a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan.
Mm,
But I see the parallels, and for the story that he's telling about his life, not anybody
yes.
else's life, his life, I got it. I was like, oh, all right, cool. And I mean, like watching it, I'll tell you off the back, the first 3 episodes were the most difficult, but
Yeah.
the thing that I realized was he's not an actor. So
No.
the first thing I was like, it was tough because he's centralized in most of those episodes,
Yeah.
and he I don't know if he's comical enough to portray his own character for TV.
Yeah.
The next 3 episodes from episode 4 to 6, hilarious, great. But
Yes.
they had seasoned characters in it. It
Mm,
wasn't he wasn't the main focus.
true.
Um, and then the last 2 episodes, which was the finale, was a little bit different, but
Yeah.
it was better than the first 3 episodes.
It was. Yeah.
So, I mean, will I give season 2 a watch? I'm gonna watch it because I expect season 2 to be way better. This is one of those shows
Absolutely.
where you expect that the seasons afterwards will be better.
Yeah.
So,
Because the tone was set in all 10. You had to
right,
set the tone in all 10. It's a different world. Like every show is not going to be for everybody. But one of those
right,
things that I don't do is say just because a show is not for me, I'm not going to say it's a bad show.
right.
Like I don't I like The Big Bang Theory is
Hmm.
really not for me. But I could actually sit down and watch a lot of The Big Bang Theory, and I
Right,
could see the funny moments, but they won't make me laugh out loud. There's a lot of
right.
shows that don't make me laugh out loud. Like the Carmichaels made me laugh out loud. I really enjoyed the Carmichaels, but or like Lil Rel show.
Right.
It did not make me laugh out loud. I'm not gonna say Lil Rel show was a bad show, and it wasn't. I think the whole thing is like if people would say, I just didn't like the content. I did like the show, fine, but I don't like the show because there's only light skinned people. Like that. That's just crazy to me. Like that's it. Like you could just not like the show. You don't have to not like the show because you think he's a colorist. Like come on, stop it. Stop it. It's about his life. It's about his family, and his kids is light skinned. Those kids look like the kids that him and Rashida Jones would have.
Right.
And
I
I
you,
thought Rashida Jones was phenomenal.
I thought she's probably obviously the leading actress on the show because she's the most seasoned.
For
I mean,
sure.
like she was able to cover a lot of ground that I didn't know she had the capabilities of. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's tough. Just like I said, it's tough to go into anything with expectations
Yeah.
and not know what's coming. Like everyone is just like, all right, with this title, this is exactly what is coming out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's not what you should go into. You should go into something like, all right, what's this writer writing and what's the storyline?
That's
This is
it.
the main reason why there's so many commercials and advertisements and trailers because they want you to know what's coming.
Yeah.
But
And what
you
is
have
he trying? What is he attempting to do?
right,
What world is he trying to explore? Like I kind of feel like people remember things differently. Like people are like, my wife and kids, Martin, Bernie Mac, they had such powerful, black women characters and stuff like. I'm like, what was y'all watching? Like the Cosby Show. Yeah, Claire was distinctly a very strong individual. My wife and kids, hell no. Tisha Campbell's character was supposed to be partially stupid. She was doing some very stupid things.
Right.
She did some very stupid things. The same thing with the Bernie Mac show. Like all of these shows kind of use these different tropes. Like they use tropes of comedy. Like, you know, you can't have both equally intelligent people. Like, you have to have one person making fun of the things that the other person does. That's just how comedy works. And people
Just think
remember
about King of Queens and stuff.
King of Queens. Like, the joke is on Doug half of the time. Like, Doug is like, and then the joke is on the father. You know, like it balances. It goes back and forth. But like to remember some of these shows.
Same thing with Blackish.
Same thing with Blackish.
Right.
The joke is on the father a lot of the times. Sometimes the joke is on the older son. It really just all depends on the moment.
It depends on what the dynamic is, because obviously, like, the joke is on Rainbow for not being black enough most of the time, and the joke is on Dre for not being as smart and gullible or naive, so to speak. You know?
Yes. And people going on, Rainbow is the smartest person in that household. She is a doctor. She is absolutely a genius. But you know what? Smart people still do dumb things. Just because you're smart in one discipline does not mean you're smart in everything. You just aren't. And that's the duality of people. And that's great. But guess what? We're watching this entertainment to laugh. That's what we're trying to do. You're doing entertainment for a couple of things. Either you want to connect, you want to explore, you know, or you want to be able to just disconnect from the world. You want to get away. And that's generally why people are watching comedy. Like, why would you watch a comedic show? You went and turned on this comedic show because I wanted to see me. No. No, she may not be like you, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
I don't know. I think that...
And one real quick, half of these people who are acting like they identify with Claire Huxtable, you ain't nothing like Claire Huxtable. I don't know what you identify with. You ain't you more like Pam than you are Claire Huxtable. So you had to wait 6 seasons to see yourself.
Oh man. But yeah, honestly, like I think it's tough to go into these situations and not be ready to know that someone else doesn't have your lifestyle. Like and the thing that I like the most about the show is just like, all right, like most of our shows or movies have been talking about getting someplace or getting there.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the first shows that are about dealing with having made it now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time that someone was just like, man, he's a really messed up dude. But it's like, but now you're realizing, like, throughout the show, you're finding out that he just made it. And that's what's most difficult, them trying to figure out what to do now that he's made it.
Yes.
You know? So, I don't know. I mean,
the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I like it. And people like these people don't exist. They exist. Kenya Barris exists.
But this is the exact point when they're like, you know, people like this don't exist. It's just like, no, this is the exact point. We don't know the people who made it because they're usually dealing with something, or you wonder why someone went crazy in Hollywood or something. This is usually the case because now they're trying to deal with all this other stuff at the same time.
I'm telling you right now, Lewis, when the loose cannons make it big, I'm getting me a gold chain with the loose cannons on it. I identify with him. I'm getting a gold chain.
Yo, I did too.
I'm getting a gold chain. I'm getting a gold chain, and I'm getting a car like that. Like, I don't understand why. I really do believe, because it's heavy male perspective. It's heavy male perspective, even when he's speaking about his wife. Even when he comes to terms with what he's done wrong with his wife, it's heavy male perspective. But damn it, I'm getting a car, and I'm getting that gold chain. I know what it's like.
I'm telling you right now, I sat through that whole episode like, damn, I've been wanting a chain. And then then I've been like, but damn, I talk myself out of it every time because I know it's a waste. It's like, it's not something I need.
Yes, until I can afford to waste it.
Right. And I'm just like, I was sitting there like, yes. Like,
yes.
This is it. But I mean, what I had so the show is actually 8 episodes. I would have
Yes, it's eight.
preferred 10 episodes so
Yes,
that it
you're right.
was more built,
After the family
and
vacation.
then it was better story arcs. Like
Mm,
the arcs were too tough for 8 episodes.
mm.
The only people who really had a great arc was one, their relationship, and two, Papa, who dealing with this whole like being the shy
Oh
little
yeah, you're
yeah,
right. You're right.
like other than that, nobody had a good arc from beginning to end of
No.
like who they are and who they eventually become at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, but I said, you said that the more you talk about it, the more you like it. I'm gonna wait till season two. I'll know more if I
Okay.
like.
All right. Well, season two it is. Um, listen. Okay, so this is what we always do at the end of when we do our movie review. We pick out a topic. We pull a
Yeah,
topic from the movie, and I think that what I would like to explore is the idea of trauma, because the
okay,
main character is obviously traumatically affected by what he experienced with his father, what he experienced in his household, and I believe that that's the story that they're telling. They're
right,
telling that story of trauma and where that can lead you, because what we do is what we end up seeing when we're locking these people up. We end up locking them up at the end of the story. We never look back and see what might have brought them there and how you would have handled it if you lived in those person's shoes.
right. All right. So one of the things that I got out of the movie that made me think a lot was um, this idea of masculinity. You know,
Mm,
and it's tough to be in a house where the masculine figure who's teaching you this masculinity doesn't know well for himself in
doesn't.
order to teach you. So you're already behind
Yeah,
in trying to figure out what to do and how to do to get there.
yeah.
And as we see in the movie, like there's a huge fracture point in which you can pinpoint every mistake afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what the movie's telling you is like, you don't realize what got him here.
Yeah,
So we have to tell this story, you
yeah.
know? And I think that people don't realize that later on in life when there's these fracture points, if you don't fix the fracture, it will always hinder you forward. And
Mm,
this is one of the reasons why, obviously, now for the last 5 to 10 years, we're talking about therapy and we're talking about dealing with boys growing into men and
yeah.
how they can use it and go forward.
Uh-huh.
And it just shows how difficult some people's lives are because of this internal conflict that they'll have, you
Mm,
know? So I don't know. It's real tough because as you're watching the movie, you're just watching someone's life basically end,
mm.
and you're wondering, but can he change the future? That sort of idea, you know?
I mean, it's heartbreaking because you know that a person wants to change but they can't.
Right,
And I think like I think the number one question that I was faced with, does life in jail make sense?
right,
Like what are we relegating people to? Like I think one of the most poignant points that he talks that he says, he's like this he said, I'm operating the same as I was outside as I am in here, except I
mhm,
just couldn't see the walls. You know, it's the concept of I was already in prison. I was already moving in this direction. I was in prison because, like, you know, one of our jobs as parents, because we're both parents, is we have to expand our children's mind and their imagination. You know, we have to open their mind to ideas and of what they can and what they can't be. That's why, you know, we want our children to be able to travel and to see the world and to see different things. But do we ever sit down and think about the effects that it has on people when they don't ever get that opportunity? You know, what does that stifle when you don't read about a world outside of you, see a world outside of your conditions? What does that do for you? You know, it brings you to a point of desperation. It brings you to a point of feeling like there's nothing else you can do. It seems like you're not making decisions at that point. It seems like your decisions are being made for you, like you're in a prison.
Right. I don't know. I mean, how like I always think to myself, like, how can we fix the system? How can we break the system? How can we rebuild the system? Not one of these is so tough because it's always going to be easier to just pacify the system
Yes.
and just continually move forward and think that we're doing good when we're not, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just like, especially in the movie where we're talking about prison, it's like, all right, if prison is for reform and rehabilitation, what are, like you said, what is it to spend life in prison then?
Mm,
You know, like then that means that like these people are not reformable or have the potential to rehabilitate. So because we're not even going to let them back into society.
yeah.
So then it's just like, all right, so how do we make society better just by enclosing these people and giving up on them? But now we have those people and with the people who are supposed to reform and get out and rehabilitate and get out.
Bless you.
That was the one that was coming, you know.
It built up.
So it's just like, all right, so how do we go forward? How do we break that cycle? How do we fix the system? How do we separate those numbers and lower the numbers going forward?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I hate to be the conspiracy theorist, but I have a sneaky suspicion because we lived in a world at one point there was no life
Right.
imprisonment. We had, I believe, if you murdered somebody, there was a time where you got 16 years, 20 years. Like there was a time that you would come out. If you murder somebody at 20, you'd be out at 40,
Right.
and there was a change, and I have a feeling that that change happened because people found out that it was economically sound,
Hmm.
and something that they can make money off of. If I change laws to get you to be put in prison for life, I've
The,
got your money for life. And
the
if
private prison system
private
works.
prison system, if I'm housing you for $50,000 a year, I don't want you out in 5 years. I
Right.
don't want you out in 10
We
because
can be empty.
yeah, this can't be empty. But if I got you for life, if I got a whole bunch of lifers, this is it. I got a whole
Right.
bunch of lifers. So it was never in that regard about reform. And I think that the only way these things are going to change is when people realize that we are no different from those people who are on the inside. Like
Right.
literally, we are no different. And some of us are one choice away. We're one situation away. One. Listen, I tell you right now, someone steps to my family, someone steps to my wife and tries to harm my wife, I will murder somebody for them. I will
Right.
murder somebody for my family. I am no different than anybody who is in the pen. They just done their murder. They've just
Right.
done it. And the truth is, society says that my form of murder is okay and it's justified, and society is saying that that person who's made that decision is unjustified, when the truth is they were probably trying to save a person that they love, maybe themselves, and that's why they committed that crime.
Right.
So we're really no different. It's just the situations in which we enact that violence that exists in all of us.
Right.
So we as a society have to realize that we're no different. And when we see that, we make decisions based off of, if I was in that situation, what would I want done to me? If that was my brother, what would I think is fair? If that was my mother, my sister, what would I think is fair? And then you come to a fair justice system that probably does not look like the one it does. It looks more like reform, it looks more like rehabilitation, and it does not look like life imprisonment with solitary confinement and all the violence that exists in prison.
Right. I mean, it's just where do we go from here? You know what I mean? What would be next?
It's a long fight. It's a long fight because truthfully, it's fact versus ideology. There's some people who just won't sit down and realize, like, they only think about the cruelty of prison until when they learn about someone who they know. Because it's easy to say that's just a bad guy. That's just a bad guy. When or until you realize we're all decisions away. Like there's no good and bad people. That just doesn't exist. There are evil acts, yes, but people are not good or evil. They are evil and they are good acts, and we are all capable of committing them. We really are. We really are. And it starts with conversations at home. It starts with these type of conversations that expand the conversation to our viewership, and hopefully they'll expand their conversation to their friends and family. But
Right.
a lot of people don't get the chance of having conversations with people and seeing the redemption in people, seeing people coming out of prison and becoming different, and becoming productive members of society. Most people's example of prisoners and people who do wrong things are movies. They're movies. They don't get to really sit down, and then there's the horror stories, like the stuff that Locked Up Abroad. There's the booty warrior that gets passed around the internet every year. Like all of these things, and it's another land. It's ours, and
Right.
and we have
It's
to
to keep it as far away from the public as possible
far
so that they don't have to deal with it. You
far, and
know.
then you forget, and then you realize. I do believe in karma, and I believe that it's not okay to keep throwing these human beings away. This
Right.
is this is precious human life. I like it. It's precious human life, and it's not okay to keep throwing these people away. I do understand the idea of protecting a society from individuals who are in a current state of not being able to control their anger that can turn violent. I do understand that, but I don't think that most people who are in jail right now actually fit that description
Right.
at all.
Um, well, I mean, I don't know what is going to take for us to reach a point, but again, a full breakdown or a full a need in another area. I mean, there's so many different things that are necessary for us to try to break this cycle and to hope that we have people who get into power who can make the change,
Yeah,
you know? And not one of these cop outs where it's like it fuels the economy or it's something that is necessary,
yeah,
you know? Then what is necessary is to have productive people in society.
that's
Period.
necessary. A larger tax base, that's necessary. That's fiscal responsibility. Let's stop paying $70,000 a person to keep them locked up in this small cell, especially if we can bring those people out, give them that 1 year of $70,000, put them through school, and make them a productive member of society. It just
Exactly.
does not make sense to keep spending, even if it's over 10 years. That's $700,000. That does not make sense to keep them locked up when we can spend a fraction of that to turn them to someone else, turn their
Right.
life around, and make them a productive member of society, and really change the world. Because we really
Right.
don't know we don't know what's in the minds of the people who are in there. We don't know what we're missing. We have no idea what we're missing out on. The inventions we could potentially be missing out on.
Right.
There's an engineer. There's an
Mhm.
engineer who's locked up right now who has the potential to bring us to the next place in motor vehicles. Like
Right.
like that could be there. I don't know. Maybe this person is being born, and maybe this person is being born and then going to live a life like Shakir. Is Shakir lived
Mhm.
in on one day and at night, and then we
Right.
throw him away, and then we lose out on that.
Right.
Um, I think that the movie was poignant. I love the conversation that it created. It was beautiful. This is what I want more of.
Right. I can't wait to see, like I said, see his next work and try to go from there. And hopefully it's a compelling story and, creates more conversation.
This was great, Lou. Listen,
You.
this was a great week. This was a great week.
Yeah.
If you listening to this one, please go back and listen to our episode on Tuesday. It was intense. It was intense conversation about politics that we had. We had a special guest on. It was super, super, super intense. You guys got to check it out. We're really tackling some of the problems of today. And make sure you listen out for us next week, guys. Listen, don't forget, guys. Don't forget. We are on Patreon. If you enjoy the content that we're putting out today, we would love your support. And if you want to support us on our road to being monetized on YouTube, but before we get there, if you want to support us for as small as $5, you can go to our Patreon. It's Candace Podcast, and we would really appreciate it. Once again, I'm No Justin No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Candace Podcast because we fire off our opinions on today's pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
What else?
Movies and TV and how they all intersect. This was great. Episode 51. We out.
Peace.